So, the Romania Muscle Fest Pro just wrapped up a couple of days ago, and the guy who impressed me the most at that show was not the one who won it, Rafael Brandao. It was not the guy in second, Samson Dauda. It was, in fact, the guy in third. This Persian wonder, Behrooz Tabani, who made his pro debut at the Romania Muscle Fest Pro, taking a third. Now I figured, why not compare him to a fellow Persian? Because I have no idea what they eat down there in Iran, but these guys are absolutely shredded, diced to the bone. Now, from the get-go, I just want to mention that sizing them up is quite difficult given that they have never stood side by side to each other. So I had to use some alternative resources, namely using Samson Dauda to size them up against Regan Grimes, and then using Regan Grimes to size them up against each other and stuff of that kind. So hopefully it is not way too off, but who knows, maybe Hadi Choopan is even taller than Behrooz. Actually, I know that he is not, but yeah, the sizing might not be perfect. But without further ado, let's get straight to it. Now, right off the back, we can see that Mr. Hadi Choopan, he has more muscle, and he seems to also have more muscle maturity, or I guess better muscle maturity. But then again, look at the waistline of Behrooz. It is absolutely amazing. They have quite a similar structure, except for the waistline, where Behrooz has a much tinier waistline. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this comparison, the mandatory shots. Starting off with the front double biceps. And in the front double bicep, it is quite evident, guys, that, this was just a fun comparison. I think that you all know the outcome of this comparison, but I just wanted to see how far behind is Mr. Behrooz, given that this show was his pro debut. Obviously, Hadi Choopan, he has more muscle on his frame, but other than that, this guy looks like a Hadi Choopan with less muscle and a much better structure. That waistline is tiny as heck, guys. Tiny as heck. So obviously, an IPB judge, he'll probably easily give this pose to Mr. Hadi Choopan, but let's also be real, guys. This guy Behrooz, if he adds a bit more muscle, he will do some damage in the IPB league. Let's move on to the front lat spread, and here is another pose where I think that this guy can absolutely crush it. Obviously, as is right now, Hadi Choopan, even with the smoke show shenanigans happening at the 2021 Mr. Olympia, he still gets Mr. Behrooz on this pose, or in this pose, should I rather say, because he has more muscle. And also, perhaps he's a bit wider, or at least he creates that illusion due to having more of them gains. But at the same time, Hadi Choopan cannot match the waist size of this Persian wonder, Behrooz. He has an absolutely amazingly tiny waist, and his lats are great as well. So if he adds a bit more size, he will freaking crush everyone in this pose. Now, already as this is, the front lat spread, it's a great pose for him, but given a bit more size, he will absolutely smoke everyone in this pose. Now, moving on to the side chest shot, and in my opinion, this shot might actually be one of those shots where he actually wins politics or not. Because if you look at Hadi Choopan, I think that he is hitting it a bit weird, in my opinion. Sort of like he twists way too much. And also downstairs, I think that Behrooz is actually getting him there. Now the camera angle favors Behrooz when it comes to the wheels, but still, guys, those are some amazing wheels from the side. His pecs are very well developed, and from the side, I feel like his arms are perhaps a bit better. I don't know what it is, but Hadi's arms looks a bit off from the side. And I won't talk more about his delts, that has already been discussed, but there's also that to Behrooz. I would say that he gets an edge when it comes to the delt. So actually, I think that this is actually a pose where Behrooz wins. Behrooz looks absolutely amazing in this pose. In the side triceps, Hadi Choopan is getting ripped off because I could not find a good quality picture of him in the side triceps. But still, this pose is fairly close. I do like the execution that Hadi Choopan has in this pose, but this Behrooz guy is no freaking joke from the side, especially his side leg. absolutely amazing. And he also shares that grainy look that Hadi Choopan has. Obviously, is not that grainy, and he doesn't have the same level of muscle maturity just yet. But in my opinion, he is very close, guys, very close as far as the conditioning goes. So let's move on to the back shots. And this is where I think that this man can make some major improvements, because as is right now, he does not have enough size in his back. But guys, look at that butt. That is a big butt. A big, manly, strided butt. I am not gay, guys, but if I was gay, I would say that that was an amazing butt. So I won't say that that is an amazing butt as a gay man, but I will say that as a bodybuilding fan, that is indeed an amazing butt. Those glutes, quite amazing. The hamstrings, they are there as well. So from the waist down, I would say that he's more than matching Hadi Choopan already. When it comes to the arms, he is also more than matching him, but the back, guys, that is where he sort of lags behind. But if he adds a bit more size to the back, actually I feel like they are quite similar when it comes to muscle insertions and things like that. But obviously, Mr. Behrooz, he has some size to add to that back, but when he does that, he will do some serious damage, I'm telling y'all. Moving on to the back lat spread, and again, guys, that back of Behrooz is already amazing. His lat insertions, they are great. You can already see a Christmas tree. By the way, I could not find a good quality picture of him in the back lat spread, so he's getting a bit ripped off, but as I said, that back, absolutely amazing, just needs a bit more size and he will crush everyone in that pose. But from the waist down, he's already crushing everyone from the back. So there you go, guys. Let's move on to the abs and thigh, and he's getting ripped off once again because I could not find a good quality picture of him in the abs and thigh. But obviously, it's an amazing abs and thigh nonetheless. I think the Hadi Choopan downstairs, he has more cuts and separation in his quads. But Behrooz, he's not far behind. Giving some time, guys, and I think that he will be just as good, if not better. And obviously, no one can match those blocky-looking abs that Hadi Choopan has, perhaps except for Nick Walker. But at the same time, Behrooz, he has a better structure, a much tinier waistline. But still, it is hard to beat Mr. Hadi Choopan in this pose as an open bodybuilder. Perhaps if this was judged by classical standards, where a tiny waist is really important, Behrooz might win this, but this is not. It's open bodybuilding. So Hadi Choopan still wins this pose, but Behrooz has a lot of potential in this pose. Moving on to the final shot, the most muscular. And again, guys, it is consistent throughout this video, but this guy, Behrooz, give him a bit more time to add some size if he keeps that same amazing Persian conditioning. I think that that is actually a new term because these Persians seem to have absolutely amazing conditioning. I have no idea what they eat over there, as I said, but the conditioning, absolutely amazing. So I guess they should keep eating what they are already eating. But aside from that silly stuff, this guy Behrooz, he will absolutely crush everyone once he adds a bit more mass. Of course, given that he keeps the same conditioning, but I think that he will. So overall, I just wanted to make this comparison because I think that these two bodybuilders are quite alike, and I think that Behrooz can do a lot of damage like Hadi Choopan is currently doing, given a bit more time and a bit more mass. But as it stands today, of course, guys, let's not be silly here. This man, Hadi Choopan, wins this comparison. But that was not the point of this comparison. The point of this comparison was to show how amazing Behrooz is in his pro debut. He's not lagging that far behind a top 3 Olympian like Hadi Choopan. So that's basically it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section below what potential or what kind of potential do you think that Iranian wonder has, Behrooz, because I think that he has the potential to be a top guy at the Mr. Olympia if you just give him like 5 to 6 years. That was it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you guys, and I'll see you later.